Welcome to another episode of Policy Pod. Today I have the wonderful pleasure of hosting Diksha Chaudhary on my podcast.
Diksha is currently Program Manager
for Toyota Mobility Foundation and until recently was with the World Resources Institute as lead at the electric mobility vertical. She has got her Masters in Public Policy from the prestigious Hertie School in Germany, and she also happens to be the chapter lead of the Hertie School here in India. Diksha is also a former LAMP fellow and has previously worked extensively in strategic communications as well. I'm very glad to be hosting Diksha today on my podcast, and we are going to be talking about her experience in the sustainability space, her experience doing her masters in Germany and higher education in public policy, the role of sustainable transportation, and also changing sectors, moving from corporate to policy, and then again within public policy changing sectors and pivoting to different spaces in the public policy space. And we are going to also have some fun conversations about politics and policy and the kind of experiences and perspective she has for our audience on public policy careers in India. Thank you so much for Diksha for joining us today. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, Ayush. It's a pleasure to be a part of this podcast. I hope this conversation proves fruitful for your listeners, and if I can add value to someone in this sector, it would be great. Thanks.
Thank you. I think I'll start with asking you a little more about your journey. While I've given a briefer introduction of what you have been able to accomplish, let's hear from you about what your journey has been like in this space, and what's your role currently at the Toyota Mobility Foundation?
Let me start with my current role.
Yeah.
I have switched to my current role, which is to be a programs manager with Toyota Mobility Foundation's Asia office. Has been to oversee their projects that they are doing in India. One of the projects is yet to start, so I'll not speak much about it. I'm still hoping it will start soon and you'll come to know about it. But another project I have been associated with is their Sustainability Cities Challenge. It's a global challenge that started in 2023. It's a very fascinating project, honestly. So TMF had started, there was a call out it was a worldwide call out where cities were asked to bring in the kind of challenges that they are facing and how transport through innovation, like innovation can bring changes in their mobility related issues. For that challenge, some 200 cities had participated worldwide. From India, 10 cities had participated, and Varanasi and Bangalore were among the two who got shortlisted, and then finally Varanasi was the city amongst 200 from the world that got selected. And the reason why I'm bringing Varanasi again and again is it's the only city from the global south that got that. The other two cities were Detroit in the US and Venice from Italy. So Varanasi is like that shining beacon who is shining because it's the only city that is the voice of global south and the kind of challenges city like urbanization feels. It's also a city which is talking about mobility not from the lens of transport, because we have, I don't know whether you've been to Kashi. When you go to Kashi, you see narrow lanes. It's very well maintained now in the sense that there is pedestrianization and all, but yet with every year the kind of facts we get. For example, it's as per 2020, like as per the last census that was there, the population was some 21 lakhs. Just this Mahashivratri, 11.5 lakhs people were there in the mandir of Kashi Vishwanath. So we are talking about huge number of people who are coming, and how to make the pedestrianized landscape of Kashi safer, more accessible through innovation. So through tech innovation and urban design. And that's the project that I'm overseeing. So after Varanasi's selection, there was again an open call out session for like a competition for tech innovators with a touch of urban design who would want to work in this space. 10 companies have been shortlisted, and in the next 1 year, right now it's us providing them support to have some sort of like a demonstration plan in place, and then the later part of the year there will be 5 finalists, and after that there will be winners by the next year when they start their pilot. All of this is being completely sponsored by TMF. So technically, TMF is spending 3 million USD
Wow.
per city to support in their challenges. Yeah.
That's crazy good. And while you do these activities, what outcome is the TMF and Varanasi City Challenge hoping for?
In Kashi, you have people coming from all over the country. There are language barriers, etc. So we want things to be as accessible, as safe, without stopping people from coming, because it's one of the biggest pilgrimages in the country. We can't stop people from coming to Kashi just to maintain law and order. So that's what we are hoping for, that by the end of this competition, we'll have some good tools in place that the city can use to ensure that things can make a difference on ground and it's safer for people to travel and more accessible.
I'm also quite interested in knowing about you as a professional while working for a global organization. How does it look like for you, particularly because you're the only India employee? You are placed in the Asia office, but given that there's so many things that sometimes there would be days when you are looking at 20 different things that are happening across the India chapters, and if you're looking at some of the South Asia work as well, and there's days when, because usually you have worked in offices where there was more than one person working on the same project. So how's that like for someone like you?
Luckily, even though I don't have a physical space of an office in India, because the head office of TMF Asia is in Thailand, I have a lot of support from the organization. For example, I can reach out to my colleagues any time of the day, despite the fact that there is a time difference. There's also support from the Japan office that we receive. If I'm stuck somewhere, if there is any particular challenge. So I have seen that, and I find it marvelous that how even, so if I'm stumbled upon a problem, I get a reply from the senior leadership very quickly that it's okay, let's just figure out how to mitigate it. Another thing is that both these projects are very closely related. Like, we are doing it in collaboration with WRI India, an organization I was previously working in. So I have my colleague support from WRI India as well. So I do not feel that I don't have a support system. I do. Second, I get opportunity to collaborate with people from literally different nationalities. So for example, I have team members in Japan, then Thailand, India through WRI, and London, as well as in the US. So I'm working with a lot of support, and I actually did not feel that I'm the only Indian, because no one made me feel like that in my organization. My voice has a lot of value, my opinions have a lot of value, and if they think that I am bringing something to the table, they understand that I am sitting here and I understand the socio-political landscape better. So a lot of deference is given to my suggestions and the problems that I raise, for example.
That's great. That's wonderful to know about. And I also know that this is one of your recent career changes in terms of sector. You have been in different spaces, including strategic communication, politics and policy. You also started your career doing work with Ernst & Young. Given that it's a recent space for you, why did you choose to be in the sustainability and climate change space?
It's very personal, actually. There was no higher goal to achieve sustainable transportation. The goal was, I am a born and brought up in Delhi person, extremely passionate about the city, and over the years I've seen the kind of pollution that we are facing, and it has been bothering me since Delhi had started to become one of the most polluted cities in the world. We are breathing just toxic air every day, especially during the peak pollution time that starts from Diwali. I think this change started few years back, 6-7 years back, when I knew that I need to do something, and transport is one of the major causes behind climate change as well as air pollution that we have. So that's where my thinking about how we can make transport more sustainable and make sure that our mobility does not compromise started. And I knew I need to do something about it, but I did not have the skills. So I knew that I need to study more, I need to enter the space, and that's where it landed. But yeah, it's been a completely personal journey. I'm not trying to do anything or like my difference making is simply to make sure that I, my family, people I love also have a good life. So it's that, how should I call it, selfish.
Yeah, I think we would prefer this kind of selfishness more in the society. I think another thing which I find unique and nice about your career trajectory is the fact that you have chosen to stay at a job for longer period of time, which is not really a trend these days. After the LAMP fellowship, you chose to work at Script, which works in strategic communication with brands and leaders and helps them. And I think it was a very small firm back then. What was the experience like for you at Script, and why did you choose to be basically there until your masters?
So I left EY not because of anything else, but because I wanted to change career.
Yes.
I do have the tendency to stay in a workplace for longer duration. I realized that.
Yeah.
Even with the Script, the reason I quit was to do my masters. I think I've been very fortunate. Firstly, because both in my first job and the job in Script, and even in LAMP fellowship, to be honest, I never had bosses. I had mentors. They just really wanted me to flourish. In EY, I had this amazing boss who really wanted to retain me, and she said that, you know, if you stay here for 10 years, you'll be a partner. There are not many women who are in this sector. At that time, fraud investigation was a very nascent field, just like policy. And there were not many women. And she actually said that women being in this sector is going to, you are bringing a completely different side to it. And you should stay, because by the time you are in mid-30s, you never know how your career will shape up. But it was my passion for politics that made me quit. Yeah. For Script, again, I had an excellent boss. I love her even now. I think her focus was to mentor me. She made me learn so much. She, I think, improved every single aspect of my life. She made me a better writer. She made me a better speaker. She had so much of faith in me handling projects individually. She gave me complete rein on how I need to run my projects. She made me negotiate project budgets. I mean, who does that for someone who's in 26, 27-year-old? And her focus, she literally took training to be a proper mentorship, have one-on-one conversations with me that where I see your career going, etc. So I think that's why also I stuck. Because I had so much of things to learn, and at that time I was struggling with sustainable transport comms also, and I got a couple of projects under her to work on by a couple of different firms, where I could see that, okay, maybe this is where I want to see. And she basically nurtured that interest. She was my anchor for those 4 or 5 years. Wow. And supported me through and through. And when I told her that this is what I want to do, that I want to do my masters, she wrote such an excellent recommendation letter.
Wow.
For me. I think she made me sound better than I was. She is an excellent person. I think that's why I ended up sticking to that job for like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think to what you said about learning and finding good mentors at all of these spaces, from whatever little experience I've had working myself, I think it's a two-way street. I think it's they finding great mentees and wanting to mentor these people. So I'm sure a large chunk of it is because you are a wonderful person, and whatever little conversation I've had with you until now, I think I'm sure you were a pleasure to have at all of these firms, and hence they ended up mentoring you and helping you out so much.
That's very kind of you, Ayush. I would like to believe that, because these people are still a part of my life. And yeah, that's a very kind of that's very sweet of you. Thank you.
One of my questions comes from what you just said. While we are talking about public policy space as a nascent space which is growing rapidly, I think there's a lot of difference people talk about, especially people who have worked outside India, people who have studied outside India, in terms of the difference between the way public policy functions in Europe and US and other parts of the world versus South Asia, and particularly India. Because in India, still civil servants, government appointed civil servants and bureaucracy, which is part of the government itself, holds a large chunk of decision making and implementation of public policy in India, while the trend is changing and there are a lot of outside consultants coming in. But how would you contrast that with your experience working and studying in Germany and Europe in terms of how public policy functions there? Because I know a lot of Hertie School students and alum continue to work in the bureaucracy in Germany and in Europe and continue to assist a lot of different government bodies. Plus, given that now you're working for a global policy organization, how's your experience different of public policy vis-a-vis your experience in India?
That's actually true. There is a sort of a lateral entry that you can get in Europe. I can only speak of Europe, particularly Germany, because again, I think I'm very blessed because I've got mentors. I had another mentor, an official mentor in that space, who started her career. She was I think sociology on something she's done, but she did a course in Hertie School before it became what it is now. And then she got a job in the Ministry of Environment in Germany. It was a lateral entry. She became into, like, with her work and the kind of skills she brought on the table, she became one of the decision makers. She represented Germany in COPs for many years, and she continues to be a champion of sustainability and climate change projects. And that could happen because the country and the system understood that by not giving an exam only, that you can still bring skills even later part of in your career and make a change in the country's welfare. With India, the struggle is still there, that we are very heavily dependent on bureaucracy, but the challenges in India are also very different. We can't compare Germany with India or any other country with India. We are the most populous country in the world. We are an extremely diverse country. You understand that more and more when you leave India, that how absolutely diverse we are. It's I think I have appreciated India way more after visiting other countries, that we are a cauldron of so many cultures and languages and problems. So I understand that the system would want us to have a very homogeneous, at least, experience when it comes to bureaucracy, that there should be a system in place, because we all are so diverse from each other that we can't have things done differently from one state to the other. What is changing, however, in the last few years is that the bureaucracy is giving a lot of value to the external consultants. They understand that there are people outside who are not from this field, who've studied, however, about a certain sector, and they bring specialized skills. So our voice has started having values in the bureaucracy. Our points that we make, they to some extent get accepted or not accepted, but they are at least heard. And if they're not accepted, there is a reason behind it, which the bureaucrats understand, that how system is run. So those changes are coming, and that's beautiful, because you understand that even though you've not cleared UPSC, it's not like you can't enter the system and do something good. You just need to understand that what is required by the country and what is required at the ground level, and you work with the bureaucracy to bring that kind of change. So things are changing and things are becoming better for the country, I believe now.
Yeah, makes sense. And there's so many avenues today. I think LAMP Fellowship was one of them. There's so many Chief Ministers Fellowship programs around where you actually get to work with the government as part of the government. And I think I was part of one of these fellowships where I did the Chief Minister's Good Governance Associates program in Haryana. And I think most of my major learnings of my career in terms of how governance happens on the ground comes from that, because things at the end of the day, and I think a lot of criticism of lateral entry within the bureaucracy, from the bureaucracy, has been about they thinking that these consultants don't understand the ground realities. And I think with all of these people who are part of now the government at the block level, at the basic level, working with NGOs on the ground, whether in remote parts of Odisha or in Assam or Maharashtra or Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir or wherever else, I think a lot of they're building their bases really well, all of these people, in terms of with how a animal husbandry department works to how a education department works in all of these spaces. So yeah, and I think another thing that I would like to understand better is, let's say, because the three cities which are part of the sustainable city challenge, and as you were talking about how the challenges are very different in India, the bureaucracy is very different in India, we are a very populous country. How do you, because the program design for the sustainable city challenge would be uniform, how do you accommodate for the diversity in terms of these cities themselves, between a Venice in Italy and a Detroit in US and Varanasi in India? That's one. And second, as to how also the leadership based out of Asia and the global leadership based out of Japan at Toyota Mobility Foundation also understand and look at these perspectives that you must be sharing about the kind of challenges and at the same time the unique things that you have here in India.
So one of the best parts about, again I have to give credit to TMF here, is that they have a very nuanced understanding of the countries that they function in. They understand the bureaucracy of each country that their operations are. Toyota in general has a very big operation in India, so it's not like Toyota Mobility Foundation would not understand how the bureaucracy work. Another important thing is that they did tweak few things for Varanasi. For example, for Venice and for Detroit, the solutions are supposed to be extremely tech heavy. For Varanasi, they do understand that it's a pilgrimage. It's a unique city in itself. You can't do much because the space is limited. So the innovators need to also bring urban design element, which is very, very unique for Varanasi. They have given, for example, the testing period for Varanasi is also slightly longer. Demonstration plan, judging criteria is different. They have made those changes keeping in mind of what the city administration needs. And all of these changes have come into place after discussing it with the city administration. So no organization is working in silos without understanding the ground reality. There are systems in place. And these were tech, again, urban design solutions that were there. I would also speak about Makkah, Medina. There are so many pilgrims who visit there, and they have put in so many efforts in the past few years to make it safer for people to visit. And that is the kind of examples that are there for an organization, that if this works out here, we are not going to only speak about this one particular area. We're talking about a bigger change that can come, and Varanasi can be an example to that. If this can happen here, this can happen anywhere else.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. I would also like to change gears a little and talk about your higher education. I think that was a very exciting period for you as well. I think even before the podcast we were talking about your experience of learning German to be in Hertie and choosing Hertie School. Tell us a little bit more about, after your stint, as we were talking about the script stint of 5 years, after your stint at script, when did you feel like you want to do your masters and you want to learn a little more, and how did you go about choosing where would you go for your masters and what would you study in your masters?
I think it was serendipity. Because Hertie is the only school I wanted to study in. The only school. I don't think I wanted to study anywhere else. I knew that I need to do a postgrad from 2017 because I knew that my skill set is getting limited. I need to work a little hard if I want to work in the policy space. And while I was working on the job, I realized that there is a base level issue that I was experiencing in terms of knowledge. That it's good to have industry background, but I think from the academic point of view and academic lens, there are so many basic things from the econ or the stats point of view that I need to have before I make a judgment. So I was already feeling that I need it. I was confused for quite some time that where I want to go, and I just somehow knew that I need to do it from Germany. And I did not even know about Hertie School at that time. I think I just knew that it has to be Germany, which is very strange because as soon as I finished my graduation, I studied French for 4 years. So I had reached B2 C1 level, thinking that one day I'll go in France and do some fancy course. I don't know why. I just thought I will do it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know what happened in 2017 when I just thought, I don't know why, I just need to go to Germany. That's it. That was the only thought. So I started doing some research, came across Hertie School, and I just knew I'll apply one day. But the time when I was planning to apply, the admissions had closed. So I thought I will do an I'm coming with 6-7 years of work experience. I'll do an executive MPP and I'll be good with it.
Yeah. And that's a very popular one. I know of friends who are considering that.
Yeah, but I am telling you, there were just stars aligned, because even the MPP, executive MPP one, I was 2 days before the deadline when I reached out to the admissions team in Hertie, and they said, there are 2 days if you want to apply, otherwise apply next year. So I was like, okay. So I started tracking the events that Hertie does, and they have coffee chats and all quite popularly to engage with prospective students. I went for one. Highly recommend people to go for these coffee chats. They are very useful. And I met a couple of the alums, including Nitij. I'm going to name him because he's been really helpful for me in the past few years.
I completely agree. Yeah.
And Nitij,
I find him with so much energy every time he talks to a prospective student.
He is amazing because he was, at that time, he was just an alum in India. He was doing his thing. He had come for that for chat. And with the admissions team, I was talking about, executive MPP, what kind of scholarships you have. And then he started talking to me and he's like, why are you even thinking about executive MPP? It's like, I'm executive MPA actually.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm with these many work ex, and he was like, so why are you not going for a 2-year master's program? You don't have a postgrad. Why do you not take a chance? It's like, no, I'm of this age, blah, blah, blah. He's like, it's fine. You just need to really go have that kind of pedigree in your, have that kind of pedigree, understand the nuances. And 2 years is good enough time for you to get a good understanding of how things are running. So take a chance on yourself. That's what his goal was. Like, you just take a chance, we'll see what happens. And I got it. I got with 50% scholarship. I don't I'm very grateful to a lot of things, I think. I got it with 50% scholarship, and I knew that and they understood my background very well. I had, Hertie was, I think it was meant to be, because Hertie gave me everything that I needed from a post grad. Everything. Great professors, very international batch. And when I say international batch, we had people from 50 odd countries in my batch. So I got to learn a lot from my peers. We went through, I was a student in a COVID time, peak COVID, when we went to Germany. And the kind of support Hertie provided at that time, I doubt any other university did. They did everything for us.
You were a COVID batch, and I think so many people struggled with...
But Hertie arranged for visa appointments for its students with the embassy. They went to extra mile to ensure that Indian students would come, because for European students to come or the USA students, they would not have so many hardships. I'm sure they did it with every other country, but I can only speak about mine. They arranged meetings in the embassy so that we can deposit our papers. At that time, VFS offices were not opened. They went to that extra mile for us so that we can reach Germany despite having COVID. I mean, that's another level of privilege I think I enjoyed, and I had an absolute ball time in Hertie. It's a fantastic school to study in. And especially if you're going for climate change and sustainability, one of the best places to study. And Berlin, what a city it is. I love it. It's my home away from home. I love that city.
To what you said about Hertie and just how accessible people at Hertie are, I think I had a first-hand experience of that. Dr. Ayush, who's the managing director, was here in India, and I just happened to be at an event, public policy event that Hertie was hosting, and happened to meet him and have a conversation. I I think I may have checked his credentials twice or thrice because I was just very surprised to have a managing director of a school like Hertie being so accessible
Yeah.
for a conversation and just having different kinds of conversation. And at that event, I remember I asked him a question about how Hertie, given that it's a younger private sort of higher education
School, yeah.
school,
University, yeah.
how does it work, like how does that work, because I've mostly heard Germany has public universities, and he gave a beautiful answer. I'm not going to try to like state it because I think I'll not be able to replicate the kind of the way he approached that and the way Hertie approaches education. And you're right, I think when you're speaking about it, the same thing comes back to me about how personalized Hertie's approach
Yeah.
has been in terms of education. Tell us a little bit more about two things. One, given that you had your concerns and considerations about going at a certain age after a certain amount of experience, what was your class profile like, and what's generally the class profile like at Hertie in terms of the age group and the kind of experience people come in with, other than the diverse nationalities? And second, why don't we also tell our audience a little bit about the process of applying to Hertie and what that's like?
So, I think the average age at my time was, I think, 26, 27 years of age. So, I was definitely on the upper side of it. I think when I entered Hertie, I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
But I had older people than me also in my batch doing the same course that I was, and from India. So, it's not like I was the oldest one.
Mm-hmm.
I had many people, 30-year-old women primarily, who were coming, not even men,
Yeah.
from different countries. And the best part about Hertie, so I had one of my batchmate was 20-year-old and the other batchmate was 37. So I'm talking about that kind of an diversity in terms of demographics and age group. But the best part about Hertie was that the people who are like a little slightly older, they have a much more nuanced understanding of things that are running around. So our classes did not have a lot of faff. Let's be honest. People came with a lot of gravity. Their responses and their examples had a lot more nuanced to it. There was also, my classes also had very open space for people to give examples. For example, my professors would have a very German focused examples to give, but they would open the class that, we want to hear from people from other countries. So I was allowed to speak a lot about India. We've had debates about it because, again, there are a lot of clashes in the way countries approach a problem. So I was able to have that kind of answer that I could give, which were more conducive to what we think is correct in terms of energy sector, in terms of, international relations, etc. So yeah, it was a very interesting experience because I did not feel that I'm old in that class. I think I felt much younger. I think I did things when I was 31-year-old, which I did not think I could do when I was 25. My batchmates didn't see my age. They didn't care what my age group is. I could enjoy my life as I could without any worries. And I thought that's isn't it beautiful that I'm restarting everything at the age of 30 when people, especially women in our country, end up settling down, would have married or would have, their path was so clear. And I realized that my path in this not knowing what future holds has its own beauty because I'm just restarting everything. Who gets the chance to restart their career at a certain point and to find beauty in it? Wow. You never know where the life takes you. So one should really, as Nitij also shared, that you need to take chance on yourself and see where the life takes you. Regarding admission, I think admission process starts around August, September, and there are multiple scholarships available for students, which I really recommend people to have a look at and apply and reach out to the admissions office. There are calls that happen, I think very soon for prospective students. Coffee chats are going to start in India. They generally happen, in-person coffee chats happen in Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, and I think one more city. But they would also have, the calls, like you can have one-on-one discussions with the admissions team. So they would start, I think September onwards the process starts. One should apply, and by 1st February the first cutoff happens for the scholarships and all. I think that 1st February is the last date. I would recommend applying earlier so that there is a higher chance for you to get maybe admission / scholarship / financial support. Yeah, but
and what is required when you submit your application? What is
it's
really
a very
required?
simple process. At least in my time, I don't know, things have changed in the last 4 years. I'm realizing when I speak to the new fellows,
Cohort,
I think they need an AWS certificate also, which was not required from the embassy at my time. But you need to have all your papers in place, like your transcript, your 12th, 10th, mark sheets in place. You should have a proof that you know English. So if in my time, actually, IELTS was not required. I don't think IELTS is, or the other exam I'm forgetting, is not required. TOEFL is not required. But I needed to get a certificate from my college, from the principal of my college, stating that my 3-year education, undergrad, has happened in English language. They just need to see that you know English. Despite India being a colony, people don't understand that we are a very large English-speaking population. But we needed to get that certificate. But the process is very simple. There is of course SOP that you require, which at my time was 1,000 word. I don't know whether they've increased the word limit. And you require 2 solid letter of recommendations from your, if you are current, like you've just coming out of your graduation and with like just like a 1 or 2 year of workings, I think 2 professors need to write a reco letter for you. But if more than that, your manager in the office plus a professor can write. In my case, because I did my undergrad way earlier than I applied, I could get 2 reco letters from my 2 managers, like from previous organization and the current organization. So that's how things worked out.
The 2 mentors you describe were wonderful and wrote glowing letters of recommendation.
Actually, the second recommendation letter was written by the MP I served. So he was at that time minister, but he was exceptionally kind, exceptionally so, who wrote a letter for
I think
me.
the person we are talking about, I think he has had a literally string of LAM fellows going and doing the Columbia, Hertie, different kind of education after serving with him. So he's very lucky for LAM fellows, I would say. But I think the last procedural question I ask you is, and move on to more questions I have about the experience at Hertie, but the last question I want to ask you on the procedural aspect is, if people have questions or doubts, how can they reach out to the Hertie School, or what should they do to know more about it? I think coffee chats is one.
Coffee chats is one. I would recommend on the website they very clearly mention to their email IDs and all. And if I'm not wrong, my email ID or some sort of contact information is still there and on the website, so people can connect with me or my fellow alumni co-leads. Their names are Richik, God, I'm forgetting Richik's last name, and Mayank. So the 3 of us are leading. We can connect with on LinkedIn. Nitij Singh is a Hertie School appointee for India, because Hertie is really putting a lot of effort in ensuring that there is growth and development of Indian students who are going, because there's a large chunk of Indian students who are applying for Hertie. So India becomes very important for them and the growth of the alum. So you guys can connect with us on LinkedIn, but website would have all the information. And just write to them, and or you can even ask, we can connect with this person or that person to have more chats. And it will be, it's going to be very seamless, because Hertie is really approachable. They reply very fast. They don't take like multiple days to reply. They generally reply within 24 hours.
And I think you are one of the more chill people to reach out to, because what usually happens when you reach out to all of these alums, particularly the more shining alums, is every time you're a little delayed or a little late on something, they'll go like, oh, you're so late with this and you're so late with that. But what I found interesting about this conversation is someone who's now leading the alum chapter in India was late for 2 of the deadlines for Hertie before she actually made it through. So I think that's very interesting. And to what you said about, I think, global experiences and people coming in with different perspectives to a global classroom from these different nationalities. Yeah, I think that's something I always wanted to do, because I went to a policy school in India, and I think I always knew what I was missing out on was that global approach and that perspective and learning from those global classrooms and different people with different experiences. And I hope to be able to cover that by maybe working for a global organization or something in the future. I think I would also want to ask you more about your experience since Hertie, in the sense, what were your learnings and takeaways from Hertie which continue to help you? I think you, during our conversation, also mentioned quite a bit that you sort of restructured and even used the word restarted your life with going to a policy school. How did that happen, and why do you think that happened, and what were your takeaways in that manner?
I think what Hertie did for me was it provided me a pause, which is very strange because we worked a lot and had no time. But Hertie gave me a pause in my career, in the sense that it made me evaluate what I want to do in my life. That I got it, that I want to get into sustainable transport or climate change mitigation, but what is it like? What am I seeking from life? It also made me realize that my experiences are quite different from experiences of someone from Europe. So I need to understand that and think that where my work would have, like, what kind of work can I do that will bring the most amount of change. And I knew that I want to come back to India, for example. Hertie did that. It gave me that kind of confidence that, I need to move back to India. What it also did was give me a lot of skill set. There are two professors I'm going to name. One is Mr. Salvador Parado. I love him. I'm going to send this podcast to him just to tell him that, see how much I love you, that you are a part of my every conversation that is related to Hertie, because he came with this. So his specialty was public management. He could be teaching in an MBA school for that matter, but his specialty was how you as a policy student can understand and break the problem statement so that you actually do something on ground. You cannot be faffing. You can't be sitting in your bedroom making policy changes. People are getting affected on that side of the road. You need to know what's happening on that side of the road and how to break those those problems, etc. He changed my, I think he just changed everything for me. I started seeing things very differently. His classes were, what he taught in class is what we do. His classes were that unique, in the sense it was not just academics. He came with such robust understanding of how systems work, because he was working in God knows how many countries, from Latin America to Europe to Asia, and even I think in a couple of African countries. So he had a diverse experience of how real life works. He was one of those people who just made that kind of change for me. Another was Professor Flaxland, because he's a climate change expert, climate change sustainability expert. His classes made me like a 4-year-old, 5-year-old student who's just learning maths or like Hindi or in English, because he broke down the very science of climate change for me. Why it happens, what is going wrong, where are we, what is exactly happening. So he's breaking down the problem in a more nuanced manner, and then taking opinions from different classes. For example, while his opinions would be very Eurocentric, as I said, that his idea was to understand what a country which is still developing would have to say about this, about, let's say, coal or about nuclear power, for example. So what is your opinion and what are your key takeaways? So you understand the different nuances in his class. So these two professors really helped me in shaping up my entire, reshaping, if I can say, how I want to approach my career, because I knew that this is it, this is what I feel passionate about. Although I had read about Professor Flaxland before I went to Hertie, so I knew that he has to be my mentor, my thesis mentor, for example. But his classes proved out to be very, very fruitful for me, and same is with my love for Professor Salvador. So I think Hertie provided me with that platform. It just broke down things for me, and then asked me that, like that Lego, that these are the pieces. You need to now build your own tower. You figure out what is the right path for you, and you just need to walk on it. So that's what Hertie did for me. And
Yeah, I think I hear this so much, and I also have always been curious about this. All these friends who have been working in the public policy and social impact space for some time would talk about how they want to take a break and would go to all these policy schools, which make you work so much more than you did for your job, but in some way that gives you a lot of perspective and helps you pause to think through a lot of things that you want to do. And I think after that thinking through, you switch to your careers, as we have been talking about, career space, I would say, that we have been talking about. What was that like? How, like, especially the initial part of it, like we've talked about climate change and sustainability courses that you took at Hertie, but still figuring out your first job here in India in the climate change and sustainability space, how was that like?
it was quite challenging.
Yeah?
It was quite challenging on multiple levels, because when I finished my postgrad, I wanted to take a break.
Yeah?
I wanted to take a break because I wanted to travel.
Yeah.
I knew that once I start my career, it's not going to be at a level where I will be able to afford to take such a long break in life, because once you are in your career and you are at a certain position, you have so much of work, you can't take out time. But during those 6 months, that was the longest I've been without work since I did my undergrad. So it was a very big shock to my system, but I thought I'd need it. Another thing was, I knew that I want to come back to India, so I was not looking for jobs in Germany per se. But in India, I knew I'm not going to go at the entry level jobs, because I'm coming with a lot of transferable skills.
Sure.
Even if I'm starting with the sustainability sector, but I have a lot of experience. Like I have like 9-10 years of work that I was bringing in. So it became a challenge. It was also a challenge because people needed to see that I am in India, because what if I'm a fluke, that okay, I'm still considering, so why will people put their bets on me? Also, India has we are all very well read with very good degrees, so the competition in Indian job market is a lot. We are all replaceable, and I'm not saying that we don't bring something special to the table, but because there is someone equally good or better than you in any space in India. So we should also keep our egos in check, that you can't be replaced, because there is someone better who's done way more than you have. So it was a challenge, but I had started to reach out to people just to understand the kind of job market in India. So I was not looking for a job, but from September onwards, I started to reach out to people in the leadership position from a bunch of organizations that, hey, this is me, this is my credentials.
And how did you reach out to them? Like, how did you get...
LinkedIn. I reached out very formally on LinkedIn because I did not have their emails. That this is me. I would give a very formal introduction. That this is me. I just want to have a conversation with you because I want to understand where I should go. I was not even looking for a job per se. I just wanted to understand what I should do to start. And I spoke to 4-5 people. One of them was Mr. Pavan Mulukotla, who's the Executive Director of Transport and Hydrogen and Air Quality in WRI India. He was like, I'll speak to you, you come back to India, let's have a chat. And I had told him that I will be coming back to India by November, December at that time. Then I came back, it was like 3-4 months before this conversation. And when I came back, I thought I'll take a chance because I thought he won't remember. He remembered. He knew. He's like, oh, looks like you've come back to India, let's have a chat. He gave me a lot of guiding points. He then told me about the job position that was there in WRI India, because I had done my thesis in electric mobility at that time, but it was very Berlin focused. He mentioned that there is a job opportunity in WRI India if I want to have a look at it. I did. And with like a lot of work, I got selected for that. Very luckily, and that is how I became a part of WRI India organization, and I worked with the electric mobility field for 2 years, and my work was primarily on improving the uptake of EVs in the subnational space. with a focus on Uttar Pradesh in general. So
yeah.
that was the.
Yeah. No, it always continues to surprise me how kind the people are in the leadership
They are.
positions. It's just you have to reach out to them in the right manner.
Yeah. And if you're approaching people on LinkedIn or otherwise, have a very kind message written. Like as you said, that they mess up in a lot of messaging. I
Yeah.
think I've also faced that a lot when
Yeah.
people have reached out with very brash message. So have a lot of kindness when you approach someone, and even if you want to connect with someone on LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn gives a prompt as to if you can, introduce yourself in a line or two before you send a request. One should do that because that just makes it more personal for the person to accept your request. And they understand that, okay, there must be a reason why this person is approaching me, because otherwise, people in general, senior leadership are really busy. So it's not like they have attitude or anything. They are just really busy. They won't even have time to check their messages. So if you want that kind of an edge, have that kind of approach that, I'll make it a little personal, and I'll go with an approach of kindness and empathy whenever I'm messaging, and humbleness always works.
Just make it easier for people. I sometimes wonder why people still continue to send a message saying, "Hi, how are you?" rather than stating what they are reaching out for. Like something as simple as that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they'll know that, okay, there is a clear ask. This is why this person is connecting with me. Okay, let me see what I can do. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your insights, Diksha. But I think this also brings me to my favorite segment of the podcast, which is the rapid fire round. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be that controversial as other more popular rapid fires are. I think I'm going to have a lot of questions some questions which I already had in mind, but a lot of questions also come from the kind of conversations we've been having during the podcast. Are you ready for it?
Yep, let's see.
One of the best, we've talked about so many mentors of yours. One of the best professional advice that you have got from one of your mentors?
It was from Miss Vinity Dev, who was my boss in script. And the advice she gave, and I follow through and through, is women support women. You never take away credit of another woman or career of another woman to build your own. Your job is to support other women in whatever venture you are in. So that's one thing that I think I follow through and through, no matter where I am, be it in my professional or personal life.
If your partner or your friends were to answer this question, an alternate career path for you?
I think my alternate career path, a few years back, someone said that I would be a good journalist or at least a news anchor.
Interesting that you didn't pursue mass communication in your bachelor's.
Which I was thinking of. That was another career that I was planning to take. Another, I think my partner would say acting, because I enjoy theatre. I have done theatre when I was in school, and in my undergrad I did a lot of street play.
Oh,
it was
so
one of my
Aprajita is also your senior from the Dramatics Society.
Yes, she was from the Street Play Society. Yes.
Wow. If you had a chance to go back and relive a year of your career, which one would it be?
Relive a career, it will be Lamp Fellowship, particularly.
Yeah.
That will be, because that's such a unique time. You are
so careless and so fun.
You can be just in the middle of your job. You can be just a student, as we said, that it's a job. It's a learning experience that's paying you. Yeah, it will be Lamp Fellowship.
It's been more than a decade, almost a decade and a half for you in terms of your career. When you look back at your first job and cut to now, what are things that have stayed the same in terms of your skill sets and things that you brought to a job, and what have you picked on the way?
So one thing that I knew right from the first day of my job is that I need to be honest to my work. you need to be really honest and loyal to your work. And I'm not talking about the organization, but the job you get, you need to be really loyal to it. You can't cheat, you can't just make do with things. You need to do it. That karm thing that we speak about in our in Hindi,
philosophy,
yeah, you need to follow it through.
Yeah.
That's the place that is giving you bread and butter. You don't cheat on it. That's where you get nourishment. You never cheat on your work. So that's one philosophy I have followed. It came very instinctually, and I follow it. What, however, changed is EY made me a professional. It was the first. It changed from the way I dress up to the way I approach myself in meetings, the kind of conversations I'm supposed to bring to the table. EY was like a ground that made me a very thorough professional. It made me realize the kind of work that I need to bring on the table, and I owe EY a lot for that. It also made me, because as I said, I was working in fraud investigation and dispute services department. It also made me realize the importance of confidentiality and never to break trust, because you don't speak about things that you don't faff, and you don't you don't break trust. So that's one thing that I have learned.
It's so heartening to hear this, also particularly because this was your only non-policy based job, and I think I keep seeing this across, because I have had so many colleagues over the years and so many people I've spoken with who come from the corporate space to the public policy space, and sometimes bring their uncertainties at their end in terms of what they can contribute and the previous experiences they have had vis-a-vis a colleague of theirs who already has been in the policy space for, let's say, 3 to 5 years with the same amount of experience in terms of numbers. But yeah, I think what those colleagues, and usually I would tell those corporate crossovers, is you bring so much unique stuff to this space. And we've been talking about climate change and sustainability. There were so many technical skills and other skills that a lot of people not from the public policy space can bring into a sector like that. So yeah, that's very heartening to hear. An experience you wish you had in this sector, in the public policy space, and you have not had?
Actually, I don't have that kind of experience, because I really love my journey. I won't change anything about it. I love it. Even the hardships I've had, even the questions that I used to raise, or when I used to think that I'm not going on the path that I want to, I won't change a thing. I don't want anything else now, because I realized that maybe there was a reason behind my journey. If that would not have happened, then subsequent steps would not happen. So there is no other journey I would wish for.
Maybe let me flip it a little other way around and ask you, what, especially for a woman who has shifted career directions a little and the kind of spaces she has been in, what is the another experience and career space you would like to experience in the next 15-20 years?
In the next 15-20 years,
yeah,
I think I want to be, in the next 15-20 years, a very credible voice in the industry who understands the transport sector and what we can do to make to have sustainable transport. That's a very narrow goal that I have. I don't have any other, I think, ambition. I just want to become the voice of credibility, who understands how things are running, who has gathered enough experience in the multiple aspects of the transport, and then whenever I speak or give advice to someone, there is depth to it.
There's a lot of gravitas in what you say in terms of your understanding.
Yeah. It should not be superfluous. It should not be superficial when I'm talking about the sector. So I think that's my goal for the 15-20 years. And also, if I can be really helpful to someone who's entering the industry. Yeah, that's another goal that I have.
So that was your rapid fire.
Thank you. It wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I think I was nicer to you in terms of my questions. But I had a lovely conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ayush. It was a lovely experience for me too. I hope my conversation would bring someone happiness or would just help someone out, whoever is listening, or even if that's not there, hope it's entertaining enough for them to keep engaged even when they're driving.
Yeah.
That's also good enough for me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayush.